like the naked trees. Will they wake up again? Do they sleep? Do they dream? Feel it as the wind strokes my skin. I am moved by the chill. Hear the winter birds sing. My tears are always frozen. I can see the air I breathe. Got my fingers painting pictures on the glass in front of me. Lay me by the frozen river where the boats have passed me by. All I need is to remember how it was to feel alive. Silent days, violent shades, we are dancing again in a dream by the river. My tears are always frozen. I can see the air I breathe. Got my fingers painting pictures on the glass in front of me. Lay me by the frozen river where the boats have passed me by. All I need is to remember how it was to feel alive. Pressed against my pillow like the aging winter sun. Only wake each morning to remember that you're gone. And so I drift away again to winter high below. My tears are always frozen. I can see the air I breathe. Got my fingers painting pictures on the glass in front of me. Lay me by the frozen river where the boats have passed me by. All I need is to remember how it was to feel alive. My tears are always frozen. My tears are always frozen. My tears are always frozen. All I need is to remember how it was to feel alive. I need to remember how it was to feel alive. I went too far when I was begging on my knees, begging for your arms, for you to hold around me. I went too far and kissed the ground beneath your feet, begging for your love, begging for us to meet, crying, give me some love, give me some love and hold me, give me some love and hold me tight. Oh, give me some love, give me some love and hold me, give me some love and hold me tight. I try to reach for another soul so I can feel whole. Oh, give me some love. Oh, give me some love, love, love. Oh, give me some love. Give me some love and hold me. Give me some love and hold me tight. Oh, give me some love. Give me some love and hold me. Give me some love and hold me tight. Why can't I run round and round again? Go back in time. I had to turn round and walk away. I couldn't stay. Why can't I turn round and walk again? Go back in time. I had to turn round and walk away. I couldn't stay. I had to walk broken mornings, broken nights, and broken days in between. Open ground, the sky is open, makes an open scene. And just like in fiction, in every addiction of fantasies taking over, awake me. I've been looking for the conqueror, but you don't seem to come my way. I've been looking for the only one, but you don't seem to come my way. Broken me and broken them, and you are broken too. Open ears, their eyes are open, makes me call for you. But there's no seduction, only destruction. Of fantasy, take me over and break me. I've been looking for the conqueror, but you don't seem to come my way. I've been looking for the only one, but you don't seem to come my way. I've been looking for the conqueror, but you don't seem to come my way.
you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of people in Canada who are hearing you for the first time, and I'm so happy that they are. You mentioned, and I know this about you, you started writing songs when you were very, very young. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 9 or 10 years. Were you writing before you were 9?
Well, I wrote melodies when I was 6, but I didn't add words to them before I was 9.
Were you listening to much music back then?
Oh, yeah.
What were you listening to?
Mostly classical music, a bit of Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan and Enya.
Enya?
Yes,
That's
I'm
that's an
a big fan of Enya.
Because you like Enya a lot? Because classical music, Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, I wasn't expecting Enya to be at the other end of that. Did your parents listen to a lot of music?
Oh, yes, they do.
Are they musicians?
No, but we share the same love for music, at least.
And you weren't listening to too much of, like, when you were in school, were you listening to what your friends were listening to as well?
No, we still don't have a radio. We didn't have a radio before either. So I'm very bad at knowing what's new.
Did you feel like you missed out? Because everything you're playing, that may be the first question. Did you feel like you were missing out when you were going to school? Did you feel like, oh, these kids are talking about the Spice Girls, or these kids are talking about, I know you're younger than I am, Spice Girls would be it for me, but
I don't feel like I was missing out, because if it's, I don't know, I feel like I managed, I can manage without.
Did you feel different? Did you feel?
Well, I was a bit different, and I think for many reasons I didn't have much to discuss with my classmates at that time.
I find that so interesting. Tell me more about your life in Norway. Tell me more about, you mentioned you have some apples and you didn't have a radio. What else can you tell me? People listening in Canada right now, tell me about your life growing up.
Well, we didn't have a radio.
Yeah, and then apples were there.
Norway is not as cold as you might expect. Or it's like Canada, it's like here. I grew up in the forest. In a house, of course, with electricity.
It's important to say that you had a house.
But you
didn't just grow up in the forest.
It's in the forest.
Sure.
We have, there are no like big roads and cars, and it's very quiet. It's by the ocean as well, and sometimes we have the animals with the pigs, guinea pig. No.
Like what? Like a reindeer or
the cute one with the
guinea
pointy.
pigs, hamsters.
No, they're not pets. They're wild. But with spikes on their backs.
Porcupines?
Porcupines.
You had
No.
porcupines?
No, that sounds weird.
Squirrels?
No, and they're so cute.
Oh, armadillos? No, I think porcupines is what we're looking for.
Maybe it's porcupine.
Porcupines? Hedgehogs?
Hedgehog. That's what I'm talking about.
What you just heard, by the way, was the crack QTV camera team answering a question that I had no idea what they were talking about. The hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs.
Oh,
we have them in our garden, a few of them.
Wild hedgehogs.
It's very common in Norway, I think. And I began writing music when I was 6. Because it made me happy.
Yeah, because you had no dreams of being wanting to be a professional musician necessarily.
Well, it's kind of like from thinking about where I came from. It would seem a very small possibility for me to become an artist like I am today, like being so far away from everything, and I didn't have the need to be on the stage. I didn't have the need to be heard. I just needed to write.
And how do you feel about being on stage now?
Well, it doesn't bother me now.
Because you're not a performer. The way you saying that makes me think that you'd be standing still when you perform, kind of eyes closed, sheepish. You're not. You move, you dance, you put on a bit of a show.
Well, I feel alive when I sing now. And it's not, it made me feel a bit afraid before, but it's kind of, I was very afraid of the water as well before I learned how to swim. And it's kind of like that, how it feels. Now I know that I won't die if I go on stage tonight either. So it will be fine.
Do you remember?
Now I like it.
Do you remember your first show?
Yes, I do. I think I peed myself a bit. It was horrible. It was really scary.
Where was it?
It was in. Do you mean my first show or my first real show?
Well, either one.
On
like,
a festival.
What do you consider to be your first show? The first time you played?
I consider it in 2014.
Oh, just a couple years ago.
Because then I had a band. It was my first show in front of like more than 5. In front of people, real people that came to see me, and to listen to music. It was on a Norwegian festival,
And I think that was the performance that got me signed by a few of my record companies, because no one really knew who I was before that day.
And were you expecting that? Or were you just kind of, were you expecting to have that kind of attention on your music as soon as you played it?
No.
No.
It was a very strange day. I say strange a lot, so just brace yourself.
That's fine. I say hedgehog a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was we were not really secure, or we didn't know if I was ready for that performance, because I've only had about 3 weeks to rehearse with my band and to learn the few songs I had back then that were done, and not too morbid and sad. We didn't really know what to expect, but lots of people came to see us, and we got good reviews in the papers.
But how about before that? Like, I guess I want to know, like, you listen to classical music, you listen to Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen, and I want to talk about Leonard Cohen a little bit later, if that's okay. But in those early days, like, tell me about the first performance, like the first gig as you.
That must have been. I didn't like performing in front of anyone, as I guess it's not really a special thing, and no one really likes to perform in front of anyone in the beginning, I think. But then after a few years, my parents discovered that I could write music, and then they kept asking me if I could sing for them, and I didn't really want to, so I decided in 2012 to give them a gift of a song, so they could hear me without me having to be in the room. And then that song was put online, and many people in my city heard it, and that's how my management found me. And a week after that song was released on the internet, I had my first performance at school. It was the last day of school.
The last day of school.
Goodbye, in 10th grade. And that was not fun.
No?
I didn't like it.
No? Tell me about it.
It was me and the guitar. I didn't know why I was playing guitar, because I can't really play guitar. But as you know, my heroes, I guess I wanted to play guitar like them. And it was a song called I Had a Dream, which is about me dreaming about horrible things that we realize is actually happening, because it's not really a dream.
How did it go over? How did the kids like it?
Well, it was really long, 9 minutes long, without the chorus.
The song was 9 minutes long?
So I don't think the kids liked it that much. It must have been quite boring.
Yeah,
but I think the teachers liked it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen, these are, well, especially in the early. Is it early Bob Dylan you're into, or is it all forms of Bob Dylan?
Quite early.
Yeah.
But also a few of the latest stuff, because I do have his Christmas CD as well.
It's wild, hey?
Yeah.
His new one is all like Frank Sinatra songs too. It's very strange. You ever met him?
Huh?
Have you ever met him?
Not physically.
No. But metaphysically. But it's different music. I mean, Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen, especially in the early Leonard Cohen days, it's a lot of acoustic guitar, violins, and auto harps. Bob Dylan, the same thing, a lot of acoustic guitar, pedal steel, and drums.
But they're very different in energy, I think.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. However, I think what I'm saying is that the music that you play isn't this acoustic kind of folk music. It's very modern. Where does that come from?
Well, I guess when you're 16 and they put you in a real studio for the first time, and you discover all the different possibilities and sounds. It's just, I think the first record is a result of me trying to find my sound, because I haven't found it yet. And I'm definitely a bit more into the more acoustic. I'm very into folk music, especially Norwegian folk music, which but it's just a result of me being very overwhelmed, I think, by all the different sounds you can find when you're in a studio. It's such a great process, I think, being inside there and kind of rapping the soul of your song.
But does this music to you now? I mean, I just find it interesting to say that you love folk music, and this is still kind of you trying to discover your sound. I mean, do you feel like this music is you? Do you feel like you're reflected in this music, or does it feel like you're not?
Well, not anymore. I was then. which I think is the eternal curse of being a human that grows and changes, which is a very natural thing. And when you make something and you put it down on a paper or on a MP3 file, you can't really change it with you as you evolve. And it's both the curse and the gift, I think, about being a human and not a machine, because it's very fun to be the hunter of the sounds, the hunter of the right energy, and it's not really about if every sound is correct. It's more about the energy. If it feels, if it hits you in some way, it doesn't really matter for me if it's not perfect. But I'm still very excited while hunting for the right sounds.
Do you still like playing these songs?
Oh yeah, I do, because I see it in the eyes of the audience that they still need them.
And do you feel that if you change your sound, if you hunt a different species, if you hunt a different sound, do you worry that your audiences expect one thing from you and then you may be giving them something else?
No, I don't worry much about anything. Or I do, but not about just those kind of stuff. Because I don't think people really connect with my music because of the way the snare sounds or the synths. I think they connect with the words and the melodies and the nerve and what's human in my music. And I think that will never change my words and my stories and what I want to accomplish with music and why I write music. It's just the clothes around. It's like I dress differently every day, but I'm still the same.
You said the what do I want to accomplish in music and the why. What do you want to accomplish in music? What is the why?
Well, it's very nice because being a musician puts me in a place where I suddenly become important for many people. Or at least it feels like it. But the great thing about being able to make music is that you realize more and more that I'm not really important. It's more about music is a thing we've always had in us for so many years, and we sing songs to celebrate and when we're in grief and it brings us together, and it's so nice to be a part of, to be able to feel so big and important, but also so small, because I'm just a part of something that's way more important than me. And I know that my songs have had more meaning to people than they originally had when I wrote them, which I think is amazing to see how people find treasures that I didn't even see myself. But I write music to make myself feel better sometimes, and sometimes to make other people feel better, because I think it's hard for us to speak about our emotions, and sometimes we need a song.
Do you feel that sometimes we don't have the language to talk about how we want to feel?
Oh yes, and I think sometimes we don't understand how we feel or why we feel sad. Why are we heavy in our chests, and how do we explain it, and how do I answer my friend who's feeling sad? How do I make him feel better? You know, it's hard for us, I think, sometimes to communicate with these things, because it goes so deep within us, and we're so afraid to bother people with our darkness. And I think a song can be such a good friend.
Well, it goes back to what you said about the idea that sometimes sad songs can be, sad emotions, sad feelings can be played in kind of a jaunty, kind of happy way.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think I love what you said there about, it's sort of we can't quite figure out our own darkness sometimes, but we can express it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be sad to express it. Is that what you're saying?
No.
The music doesn't have to be sad to express it.
No, it doesn't, because I think laughter and tears are very close to each other, and sometimes we can be really sad and just laugh, because it's just emotions. And I think the most beautiful thing is, especially on I Went Too Far, I see people cry in the beginning of the song because they've been bullied to or treated wrong by people that they gave all their love to, because we see these things happen all around us every day, like these kind souls not knowing that they can get much better. And it's so nice to see my fans or these people cry, and then in the end of the song they're dancing and smiling, because I don't want to make people depressed. I want to keep some light and to remind us that it's okay to cry and not be depressed. Crying is not an unhealthy thing. It's a very beautiful thing. I love to cry. I cry all the time.
Aurora, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Well, thank you.